look at you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How
Oh
are you
my
doing?
goodness. I love the little name sign behind you. That's awesome.
Well, listen, it's not every day that we have a fashionista, singer-songwriter with one of the best albums of the year. So, gotta
Oh my goodness. Thank
spruce
you.
it up a little bit. How are you, Lindsay?
I'm great. I'm so glad to be talking to you. Thank you so much for
Same.
asking me to come on.
Are you kidding me? Lindsay, I have to tell you, I mean, this is just a great way to be, we're recording this on Wednesday, midweek,
Yeah.
because Queen of Nothing, oh my God, Lindsay, what an album. Like, mind blown. Like that emoji with like the brain, like 100%. It is so, so good. I mean, it's just stunning.
Thank you.
Came
Wow.
out
Thank you so much.
came out mid-May. I mean, from the first notes of Dirty Fingers to Where You're Going, those last bittersweet notes of that last song. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's a heart-wrenching album. It's beautiful. Congratulations, Lindsay.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, the album's been out for almost a month, which is it's wild because I worked on it for over a year and it feels like it's taking forever. And then, start dropping the singles and that feels like it's just
Right.
taking forever. And then all of a sudden it's out and it's like, oh my gosh, here it is. It's in the world. So it feels really good to have the music out. And I so appreciate all the kind words. Thank you.
Sure. And I'm not the only one. Everyone's loving it. And, normally we start with like the early life and we work our way to the music. But let's start with the music because I
Yeah.
can't ignore the songs. Like they're so good. They're like ingrained in me at this point. So yeah, you've talked a little bit about this, but you recorded the majority of this album, here in Nashville. We're recording in Nashville just like days before like the world kind of like went into chaos.
Yes.
Not only the pandemic, but also the tornado, right?
Right. Yeah. Gosh, I look back on this and I'm so grateful it all happened the way it did. It was just kind of pure luck. But it was the last 3 days in February, I had booked the Smokestack here in Nashville to record the bones of the album with the band that was playing on it. And so we had those 3 days. We recorded most of the album. We got pretty much everything. And then the tornado hit Nashville just a couple of days later. And my office was actually destroyed in the tornado where I work. So I was immediate work from home because we lost our space.
You're in East Nashville, I assume.
And yeah, well, we were in Germantown. So yeah, like that on Jefferson Street. So so I was kind of working from home and picking up the pieces there. And then, right on the heels of that, everyone locked down because of the pandemic. And it did, it was tough in the beginning because we still needed to do things for the album. I needed to record overdubs. I needed to do final vocals. And so for a minute, it was like, gosh, well, how are we going to do this? But, we figured out a way to remotely and safely make sure we could get all the things we needed and just kept chipping away at it over the course of the year. So it was actually really nice to be able to work on something like that during that year, which just felt so strange. And, everything came to a screeching halt. It felt very normal to continue to work on the music in some way.
Yeah.
So I was thankful for that.
Absolutely, Lindsay. And yeah, and actually like listening to it, I feel like it has a special light on it. Like what I mean is it's almost like it's blessed in a way, the album. I don't know. It just has like an intangible thing on it. Do you think that all the adversity that you went through to finish it, all these little things that we're talking about and Zoom files, Dropbox back and forth, make sure everything was on point, just getting it across the finish line almost like made it more gratifying in a way?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, and it takes a village, to put an album together and everyone worked so hard on it. And, I think about Jason Eskridge, who sang background vocals on the record, and he and I have never met in person. He did everything remotely, and it was just flawless. And so everyone really came together to do their part and help get this thing over the finish line, and that just feels so special. And yeah, it's very. I'm just so grateful it all came through in the end because it really was it was just a wild year, for everybody. And especially in music, I think there were also these moments of, am I going to be able to play these songs anytime soon? Like, when are we going to get back to normal? So thankfully, now that the album is out, the world is kind of getting back, and music is coming back, which feels really good.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Yeah. And the songs are still relevant to you, right? It's not like, some people, we've had guests here, and like their albums, they're almost like, man, like these are not relevant to us anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still very excited about these songs, especially since I kind of reimagined and re-recorded some for this project. But I do relate to that too. Like I understand that, you work for so long on something, and after a year of working on it or getting it over the finish line, sometimes you're like, I can't even hear this song. Like I just need a break from it. But I'm really stoked to get out there and hopefully play some shows, share
Oh
this
yeah,
music, get on the road a little bit.
it's gonna be
That's
amazing.
definitely the plan. Yeah.
Can't wait, Lindsay. But let's talk about a few of the songs. I mean, let's start with Pieces of Things. I mean, it's stunning. I mean,
Thank you.
we could talk about all of them, but let's just talk about a few. I mean, that
Yeah.
lyric, like Janie keeps a penny works of earnings in her pocket, and dimes or pieces of rocks found in mines. Or Mary wants a
Yeah.
fireworks show at her wedding. What I love about this song and your songwriting, Lindsay, is you're like a fiction writer. You remind me of like Garcia Marquez or something. You create these beautiful characters in 3.5 minutes. um, how do you create such vivid characters, like you really get into them, like you really make us like feel like we know them?
I love to hear that. So thank you. And yeah, I think, a song like Pieces of Things, it really is one of those, it's really like a journey song where I'm kind of talking about these different characters and you're following along into like these little glimpses of their lives. And yeah, I wrote Pieces of Things years ago. It's actually a pretty old song. I wrote this song years ago after there was a period of my life where I was a bridesmaid in 5 weddings in 6 weeks. And it was just like madness. And I love weddings, don't get me wrong. But I was thinking about how I had a conversation with a friend who was getting married. She was really upset over something that was happening with the wedding, and it was a very minor detail. And there were tears and there was all this stress. And
Right.
I just started thinking about like, gosh, like, does this really matter? Is any of this stuff really important? Like, this is not what you should be upset over. And
Hmm.
that really is what sparked that song. And I kind of nod to that in the second verse about the wedding verse.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's a I still love that song. I've had that one for a while, but it's always really fun to play live. And I usually have some friends sing that with me so we can make the chorus really big with some harmonies. So
Oh,
that's a
nice.
fun one to like bring friends up with me to sing on for sure.
Cool, love it. Okay, Glory Glory, maybe my favorite one. I mean, I don't know, it's stunning. I think it's the fourth one in the album.
Yeah,
I mean,
fourth
it's so
track.
inspiring. When a song like this comes along, Lindsay, that I mean, to me, it's like an A+, 10/10. It checks every box, like the vocals, the
Thank you.
production. It's a perfect song. At what point in the process do you look at your team, or do you realize, like, do you look around and you're like, holy smokes, this is a keeper. This is a good song.
Yeah. Yeah, so that song in particular on the record, that took a big turn. I wrote that song a couple years ago and had played it out with almost more of like a bluegrass country kind of vibe. And going into the making of this album, I knew I wanted to switch it up in a big way. And so when I was working with Brendan St. Gelais, who produced the album, we were kind of talking about, what do we want this to be and how do we want it to come to life? And we started talking about, like this big kind of like church revival sound and bringing a fullness to the song and like this big chorus and like these big
Yeah.
vocals. And that really was, as that started to change, I think that was a moment where I really felt like that song finally landed where I always wanted it to be.
Mm.
And that is such a great feeling, and that's what's so cool about songs too, is that they can kind of change over the years. Like, you play them live a little differently than you played them on the record, or maybe you wrote it on an acoustic guitar and it ends up becoming a piano ballad. And I love being able to do that with music too and have that flexibility.
So great, such a great song. All right,
Thank
let me
you.
ask you about one more song, and then we'll
Yeah.
move on from the album. But yeah, Where You're Going. It's a beautiful but at the same time bittersweet song. Uh, why did you finish the album with this one, Lindsay? Obviously, I mean, most of us can relate to situations like this, and it's beautiful song. Don't get me wrong. I'm just curious why finish
Yeah.
like on that note.
Yeah. Well, so that was kind of a last minute change up decision. We were gonna end, initially I thought I would end the album with Queen of Nothing, the title track. But we decided to put Where You're Going last just because of the production. It's really the only song on the album where we did it in one take. It's just the vocal, the guitar, and then we added those haunting kind of violins after. So I think it brings the listener way down, and we thought that could be kind of a nice way to end the album.
Yeah,
but also for me personally, the sentiment too of just, it really is a song about wishing somebody well and then kind of sending them on their way. And so I liked the idea of just putting a bow on the whole album with that song as the final song.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, because you embrace like the hard truth of if you love someone, let them go. Like it's uncomfortable, but like that's why it's hard. Like, yeah, I like that actually. Yeah, really cool. Awesome. Okay, let me ask you about pivoting a little bit about your TED Talk, because you and your husband, Taylor Alexander, did a great TED Talk. And you've talked about this a few times, but it's called Embracing Change in the Creative Process. It's a great TED Talk. People should YouTube it because it's great. It's 10 minutes. But yeah, I mean, the topic is fascinating, but I wanted to ask you about getting ready for a TED Talk, because you have like this like time constraint. And I remember, I think I read Bruce Springsteen when he did the Super Bowl that he said that was like the hardest because he had to get 12 minutes, something similar to you, like, and you even perform a song in there and you get your message. How do you prepare for a TED Talk, Lindsay?
Oh my goodness. Well, it was such a cool opportunity to get to do that. We also, my husband and I, because we're crazy, it was the day before we were coming back for our wedding. Like we're getting married 2 days later. Right. And we told our families, like, peace out. We're going to a different city to do a TED Talk and we'll be flying in the morning of the wedding. And they were like, what? So there was a little bit of stress around that. But we really, we don't write together. We really don't co-write much. And so we thought it would be a really fun challenge for that assignment to try and write a song together and then talk about the process and changing our creative process so that we could co-write together. And so really it was a lot of us, sitting down and writing this song, which was a challenge because we just don't do it much together. And then also, having to put together a little bit of a presentation for the audience and keep them engaged and make sure that there were dynamics involved and we were making it interesting. So it was a really awesome creative challenge, and it scared me to death. And I always think it's good to do things that scare you a little bit. So,
sure.
Yeah, we had so much fun, and it was my goodness, the other speakers that were there that day were just, some really incredible people that are just, doing such amazing work in the world. So it was just awesome to be in that company too.
Love it. And look, one of the things we love about you, Lindsay, is how well-rounded you are. Like you're just, you do a little bit of everything. You do really a lot of great things well. One of them is, you've been a senior copywriter for like a lot of big brands. You've worked with Bloomingdale's, you've worked with Hugo Boss, you've like the whole thing. Yeah. So you know how to write in like different like arenas and 360 degrees. Are there any advantages to be able to be, as a songwriter, but also be able to do a press release for a Fortune 500 fashion corporation,
Yeah, for sure. I definitely use some of my, career knowledge as a writer and as a marketing writer in some of the music business for sure. And even, as an independent who, I'm doing a lot of my own marketing and branding as well. It's nice to have the expertise in that arena and be able to apply it to just anything I'm working on, whether it's the artwork for the album or, if I'm cold pitching myself to a news outlet, or even just, things like, captions on social media and how to keep my content engaging and all of that. I think it does help. And I think I enjoy it. I enjoy the marketing aspect as well. Sure. I think because I do it for a living, it's fun for me. So I'm lucky that I can kind of, I can do both. And I think they kind of serve each other well, too, because I think at work, the creative writing that I get to do with music and my, my passion writing, that also kind of helps inform what I do for clients at work too, because I'm always writing. And I think, the best way to be a better writer is just to keep writing. Right. So, yeah, I kind of just, I'm just
Nice.
always writing all the time. I can't get away
Yeah.
from
It's
it.
like you have your, yeah, I love it. New words, yeah, you know what's happening. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Great. And it makes sense because your social media is amazing, by the way. So yeah, cool.
Oh, thank you. Gosh,
Yes, yes.
I feel like that's the one area where my husband was laughing at me this morning because I posted my first reel on Instagram. I'm
How did that
late to
go?
reels. Well, I was laughing at myself because I literally Googled a tutorial of how to make a reel. So
Hey,
that's where I'm at.
listen.
It's
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
but I did it. I figured it out. I'm on the board in terms of reels. So I've arrived for sure.
You know what's interesting about Reels? Sometimes we post, like when we'll post your episode, we'll post like a teaser or whatever.
Yeah.
They have these weird time spans. So um you know, you're used to like getting the likes or whatever like instantaneously or the day
Yeah.
off or the day. This ones will come up like a month after you start getting likes on these
Oh,
Reels.
really? Okay.
Yes. So just like,
Interesting.
yes, I don't know how the algorithm works,
Yeah.
but like that happens quite a lot. Like the
Yeah.
ones that you posted like 3 weeks ago start like getting hot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the great mystery of the world, right? Like the Instagram algorithm,
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah,
how can we beat it? What's going on with it? I'm always trying to figure out like how do I break through and make
exactly.
my content seen?
Oh my God, Lindsay, you
Yeah.
are amazing. You're good. You're being so cool with your time, but we have to ask you about the great work you do here in Nashville with the Caring Connections, which is this animal foundation, right? The one that Emmylou
Oh yeah.
Harris started
Yeah. So I actually I haven't volunteered for Caring Connections in a while.
in a
That was
while.
they're
Okay,
yeah, they're a great program though. I don't even know if they still do that exact program, but it was a program that Crossroads Pets here in
gotcha,
Nashville
gotcha.
they did with it was kind of like with a group of teen boys. They taught them how to train the dogs and get that animal therapy. I actually don't know if they're still doing it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I would have to look into if that's even still happening.
Okay, okay. I know
Yeah.
Emmylou's still doing something with animals, so I
Yes,
figured it was the same thing.
Emily still does. Emily still does Bonaparte's retreat. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And yeah, I was volunteering for Bonaparte's retreat for about 5 years. And when the pandemic happened, I wasn't able to go anymore. But I'm looking to get back into that because I just love the dogs, and it's amazing to be around animals. I think it's just it's good for them, but it's also good for me. I just love being around the dogs and the other volunteers. And they're such a great organization, and she does so much for homeless pets in Nashville. So they're
Amazing.
incredible.
Lindsay Ellyn, we need more rounded individuals like you in the world. Caring, great artists, great fashion, like you do it all.
Thank
Unbelievable.
you. Thank
That's
you
so
so much.
no, thank you for your time. I mean, what an album. Again, I have to tell people, Queen of Nothing, stream it now, get it now. Do you have vinyl available in your website?
I will soon. So
Okay,
there's a really big backup on vinyl orders right now. I think
sure.
like every artist in the world is ordering vinyl. So there's about a 7 to 8 month lag time, but
Oh
I will
wow.
have
Okay.
vinyl at some point. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
We'll have to get it, Lindsay, and we'll have to catch you on tour. But thank you so much
Yeah.
for
Well,
your
I would
time.
love to send you a vinyl when they come in. So
Absolutely. And as soon as you're playing Nashville, we'll be there,
all
wherever
right,
you are.
cool.
Awesome.
All
Thanks
right.
so much
Thanks
for your
so
time.
much, Jamie. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.